We obviously came in at a time of enormous crisis, and the first task was making sure that we didn't have a complete global economic meltdown. The steps that we took, whether making sure the financial system was functioning, saving the auto industry, encouraging state and local spending, all those things made a difference in buoying the economy. Then it's been a hard but steady slog to the point where now we're growing at a robust pace. Unemployment has come down faster than any time in the last 30 years.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, I am so proud to welcome in the one and only Thomas Sowell, Senior Fellow at the Hoover Institution, author of a great new book, Wealth, Poverty, and Politics, An International Perspective. And Thomas, welcome, sir. Very, very proud to have you on the show.
Well, glad to be here.
All right, before we get to anything involving our particular situation here, the book is fascinating, and it comes at a time where we're more interconnected than ever, or so it would seem, with what happens in China, what happens here in Greece, etc. But I want to talk about, from an international perspective, as the book also addresses and mostly addresses, first of all, starting from basics, what is the most significant factor? You address geographic factors, cultural factors, social factors, political factors. What's the most? Can you pick one of those and say this factor is most responsible for economic success in a particular country?
In a particular country, one factor may be more important than it is in another country. In Italy, for example, the climate. Most of the rivers in the Mediterranean area of Europe have a lot of water in the wintertime, a lot of rain, and very little rain in the summer, and so therefore they almost dry up. But the Po River in northern Italy, up near Milan, Turin, Venice, that river, it happens to get more than twice the water, let's say, that falls in the vicinity of Rome. And also, it's up near mountains, and so the snows from the mountains keep the river flowing all during the summer. So it's one of the few rivers in that area, and it also flows across level ground, so it's very navigable. Well, this has always been a far more prosperous area of Italy than southern Italy. And it's just a happenstance that's so in that case. In other particular places, different factors will play a major role.
What about the fact that we look at our economic system here, and something happens in Greece, which seems eons away to the average person, or something happens in China, and we feel it when we look at our 401ks and we look at the stock market and we look around our economy. Is this something that's going to continue, or will we get more I guess U.S. centric in our economic concerns?
Well, we may be USA concentric or not. The real question is whether there are economic ties across the oceans, and there are, and increasingly so. One of the things that drives me crazy, these people who say that the answer to our problem is to raise the tax rate on the rich. When you raise the tax rate on the rich, that does not necessarily bring in any more revenue. Very often it brings in less revenue because people who have investments available to them overseas simply transfer billions, and in some cases, I guess, in the aggregate, trillions of dollars overseas, so that they're creating jobs in other countries rather than creating jobs in the United States. In this case, the federal government doesn't collect any more money. It's just that American workers have fewer jobs.
Right. Now, what about our particular situation here? For time constraints here, I just want to get to that before we run out of time. This is probably the slowest, well, you tell me, the slowest recovery, in recent times, coming off of a recession. Where do you think we're headed?
Oh, good heavens. The record of economists predicting the future is very daunting. I would rather flip a coin, because everything depends upon what the politicians do. And no one knows what the politicians are going to do, including often the politicians themselves, until they suddenly make a decision under pressure.
Well, what about what has been done since Obama came into office? Is this the right track by any means?
No, it's almost a guide to how not to get an economy to recover. You don't get an economy to recover by smothering businesses and growing amounts of red tape and regulations. You don't get an economy going by threatening them, and above all, by constantly having changes in your policy. The one thing the economy cannot adjust to very well is uncertainty. And if you have policy A today and suddenly out of the blue there's another policy tomorrow and so on, no one knows from what direction they're going to be hit with new rules.
Right.
And so people who have money are sitting on that money. It's one of the reasons why the Federal Reserve's printing all these extra dollars doesn't do a lot.
Thomas,
yes.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say that the book is Wealth, Poverty, and Politics, an International Perspective by the one and only Thomas Sowell. It's been an honor, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we're coming back, folks. Don't go away.